Hello and welcome to today's video. Today's video is a creation spotlight on this Iron Maiden inspired Necronomicon I made out of an old book and Worbla. So the difference between a creation spotlight video and a quick look video, which both seem to start out kind of similar, is the creation spotlight video I go into a little more detail of the making of it. So I don't show the whole process, but I do want to share some of the steps to it, especially if they're a little bit different than a previous project. All right, let's get started. So I actually found this old book at a garage sale earlier this year, and looking on the inside you can see it's dated from 1941, or somebody wrote in there from 1941. Going further in, it has a copyright date of 32/37/38, so I'm assuming it's at least from 1938. Now I went ahead and added Worbla to the back and sculpted in some song titles from Iron Maiden. I thought it'd be neat to have those incorporated into the book, and I'm always looking for something to do on the backside. With the backside done, I went ahead and started sculpting out the face on the front side. So what I did is I actually carved out holes for the eyes and then built up the rest of the face with foil. And the reason why I wanted to do this is because I wanted those eyes to be a little deeper than they have been on the previous Necronomicons I've done. Once I was fairly happy with the basic shape of the head, I went ahead and covered the front of the book with Worbla. And I used black Worbla for the eyes and the mouth, just to help give them that depth. I then built up some more black Worbla on the inside of the mouth and added some polymer clay teeth. So I've already sculpted these teeth way ahead of time, and so they're all baked and solid, so I could just add them. And once I was happy with how they were placed, I went ahead and filled in the gaps with some more black Worbla and added some texture to it. So this might seem like an obvious thing, but something I wanted to mention. Always think of, when you're doing sculptures like this, think of them in layers. So you're going to start with whatever's the deepest and then add to it. So you can see that, now with the teeth done and the gums done, I can start building up around the mouth, and then I went ahead and started working on the nose. In this picture here, you can see where I've added a little bit more detail to the nose and built up around the eyes, kind of got them shaped how I want, and built up the forehead a little bit, and have that section of Eddie where his top of his head was removed. That was for their album cover Peace of Mind, where he actually looked like the top of his head would come off. And although I do have to do these sculptures in layers, when I'm on that top layer, sometimes I'll kind of jump around a bit. So instead of finishing the Eddie face, I went ahead and finished the texture on the front of the book, so it all kind of looked like it went together. These three pictures here kind of have more of a story to them. On the one on the far left is where I thought I was done with it, and so I had finished doing the detail on the Eddie face, added a little more to the forehead, and I was mostly happy with it, but I knew it didn't look quite right, and I couldn't place it. I have several artist friends on Facebook, and I'm in a messenger group with a bunch of them. So I went ahead and sent that picture to them and asked them to kind of critique it, let me know what they thought needed to be changed on it a bit. One friend suggested that he thought the eyes were a little far up on the face, and after looking at it, I totally agreed. So I went ahead and kind of pulled them down, made them bigger actually, and you can see that in the middle picture where they come down more, and I think this is a much more appealing look and is more what I was going for. Another artist in the group said she thought that the face of Eddie looked like it was just kind of sitting on the front of the book and not coming out of the book. And what I had envisioned when I was making it is I did want the face to look like it was kind of pushing through the front of the book. Like, it was maybe more of a kind of an animated face that had been stretched, pushing through instead of just sitting there. So when she said that, that's exactly what I needed to hear, because by sculpting it, I wasn't getting the look I wanted. and she really helped me realize that, this isn't what I wanted to do with it. I really wanted it to look like it was pushing out. So I took a bunch of Worbla and went around the edge of Eddie's face and then kind of smoothed it into the book. And I even extended that texture of the book more onto Eddie's face to look like he was pushing out of it. And here's a better look at the finished sculpture before I start painting it. And you can see here from the side that that face really does look like it's pushing through that front of the book. So again, I'm really happy. I asked for advice and I took it. It's hard to do, when you are making something and you put a lot of time into it, you want it to be perfect, and you don't necessarily want to hear that it needs to change, but sometimes you need to get other people's opinion on it because they will see things differently or help you see what you're missing. I mean, I knew I wasn't happy with it, but I didn't know why. Now, I've already added a brown wash to the back, but I wanted to start working on some of the other details on the front. And so you can see here I've already painted the eyes some and done some work on the gums, but I kind of wanted to show you how I did that. So I just take a little bit of acrylic patio paint. It's kind of what I use for most of the Worbla, some kind of acrylic paint, but the patio paint has a built-in sealant, kind of gives it a little bit of a shine and works really well. So I just use a little brush and go over that. And then once this is completely dry, I'll do a brown wash over the front of it. I didn't take any footage of the brown wash. You can see it in my full Necronomicon video, and I'll put a link down below for that. It's also in my Necronomicon graduation card I did for my son. Both techniques are very similar. The only thing I did differently on this one is I watered it down more, so I didn't have to wipe off as much and didn't waste as much paint that way. This picture here gives you a good look at how the gums and the eyes look. I did go over the eyes at least a couple more times, and then I just added the brown wash. Once that was completely done, my book did separate a little bit more. I had already had it glued when I was sculpting it, but I had to re-glue it, and then I put a bunch of books on it for weight. So I went ahead and let that dry overnight, and here is the finished Iron Maiden inspired Necronomicon. So I know I showed it at the beginning, so you've kind of seen the finished product already, but I'll give you a better look at it. So you can see here I've got the 666, that's for the Number of the Beast song by Iron Maiden, and then I have several of my other favorite Iron Maiden songs here on the back: Run to the Hills, Aces High, Wasted Years, Stranger in a Strange Land, and The Trooper. Now, instead of using the Number of the Beast, I thought the 666 looked good on the side, like it was kind of like a catalog number. So I thought that worked that way. And then you can see here it is glued shut. I did add a brown wash to the edges as well, so the whole thing would have that dirty look. I really think this works very well for these Necronomicon books, to use that base Worbla color with a brown wash. And here you can see a better look of the bracket. I did want to make it look like, a lot of the artwork where it's kind of splitting there, and then it's screwed into his head to keep that top piece on. I did get the bracket at Ace Hardware and just got a couple screws there. And then you can kind of get a better look of the eyes here. And that is a blue pearl paint. And then the teeth, like I said, I made those out of polymer clay, but they also got the brown wash to kind of dirty them up and make them look pretty gross. I want him to have that zombie undead look, because that's basically what Eddie is some kind of zombie. So I'll just give you a better look at the whole book. Pretty happy with how it turned out. The camera refocused there. But if you have any questions about this project, please leave them in the comments down below. And if you want to have a better idea of how these things are made, again, be sure to check out my full Necronomicon video. Like I said, the link for that one is in the description box below. One last thing I wanted to do was just give you a comparison of size compared to the last Necronomicon book I did. So these are quite a bit different. I actually thought this would be a lot quicker project because of the book was a lot smaller, But because of the amount of detail I did on the face, it did take quite a bit of time. So the last thing I want to do is kind of give you guys an idea of the exact size of this. So it's about 7 3/4 inches tall. And then it comes out to be about 5.5 inches wide. Or it's about right around 19 centimeters tall. And about 14 centimeters wide. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching today's creation spotlight on this Iron Maiden Necronomicon. Well, thanks for watching, and remember, never stop creating. Bye!